HoonTV!
Alright, I'm down to 5% battery here, so messing around with heaps of different settings with Rob, playing with high hertz, low hertz, high amps, low amps, cleaning or balance, high and low, and just messing around, and then basically just smashing out heaps and heaps of little bead welds and stuffing around, wasting a bit of welding wire, and yeah, but it is very good. What do you reckon, the welder, Rob?
Yeah, I don't mind it. Nice steady arc on the AC side. Anyway, I didn't play on the DC side.
Oh, DC's next week. Yeah, no, very good. It's freezing, I'm going home, I've got to pack this up and get ready to go away. But yeah, this weld is awesome. So I'm really looking forward to actually using it rather than doing test welds on it. It's not perfect, but it doesn't need to be because it's just literally supposed to be replacing a threaded rod. Lucky I'm wearing these gloves because it's quite warm. Okay, so this is all good to go. I have masked up as many things as I could just for preventative powder coat getting in places where we don't want it to go. Frames had a light blasting, not too much, just to give it a nice surface. As you can see, that's where I'd sort of made a repair in the frame here. That's all welded on. Should look a bit pretty with a bit of powder coat over the top. That's been acid etched. Swing arm's been blasted, acid etched, a little bit of blasting, and that's been blasted. So this is all going in. It's getting gloss black, and then also Rick wants to clear coat it as well. So yeah, it should be good. Another thing too is all of these ones here, like these little M6 bolts here, I don't tend to tape them up because afterwards, because it's a through hole and you can see right through the other side, I just really lightly run a tap through there because they're an easy thread to clean out. It's the ones that are a thread that stops that are hard to do. So these ones aren't too bad to do, they're quite easy to get to. Just run a tap in there, even low speed in a drill. Same with these ones, these are M8, so yeah, not too bad a deal. And same on the swing arm there, they're all pretty easy to get to. I just seal these up here so that nothing can get in there, and yeah, pretty good. Hopefully we'll get into this pretty soon. The other day I picked all this stuff up and I've got the frame back from Powdercoat, all really happy. And one thing I forgot to mention the other day as well, which I'm going to mention right now because he's my hero, but big shout out to Ben Shaw from Extreme Creations, because he has made this sprocket for me and made it basically from a photo of one that was on an Erion bike. I'm sure they had all sorts of different sprockets over the years, but that is a one-off sprocket that he's made for me, and it is very cool. I basically just told him I wanted a 520, 47, I think it's 47, maybe it's 45, I can't remember now, but and sort of showed him something that was on the bike back in the day, and he's made something very similar, which Ben's made a lot of sprockets over the years and made a lot of really custom cool sprockets, especially for stunt bikes and drag bikes and stuff like that. And yeah, one more look, that's very, very nice. Where I'm at now is I'm pretty much ready to start assembling the frame back together. A few little bits and pieces to clean up, but before I do that, I've started already, but I'm probably going to rip into a time lapse and still got to remove a lot of the tape in areas where I've taped up holes to prevent paint from going in, and then also go through and chase the threads out on the ones that need the threads cleaned out. So anything like these little nut certs, because I didn't bother taping them because it's a nice finish there, and then you just run an M6 tap through them. You just got to be careful so you don't rip through it, but if you chase the old thread then it cleans it out nicely. The other thing that I have, which is very cool, which I got the other day, is my friend Trav in Melbourne has made this for me. So basically the original Fireblade has the caliper on top, and the Erion Superbike had the caliper on the bottom. It had a Brembo caliper on it. It's got the nice gold monoblock calipers on the front, so I managed to find one of these, which is a caliper from an Aprilia RSV. And then Trav's made this bracket for me, which basically is going to set the caliper underneath the swing arm, pretty much like the Erion bike, using the factory CBR brake disc rotor. And I've got a brand new disc rotor on there as well. So I'm going to rip into taking all this tape off. But the other thing that's really important is that, as you can see, I've got the bearing cups out of here because I use a cup and cone style bearing, not the roller bearing. So the difference between, that's a cup bearing and that's a roller one. This one, as you can see, that's got a cut in it, if this will focus. I do that because I use this one to smack in the other one if you don't have a proper bearing tool, and that means it's easy just to get out afterwards. But one thing that's really important, especially after having shot blasting or sandblasting as I've experienced in the past with engines, is to make sure that all of the crap is out of the frame, because this frame does go through inside through here, so any metal crap that's in there could eventually make its way into the bearings. I mean, it's not as intrusive as like an engine bearing or something like that, but still it's a steering bearing. So I have the old Milwaukee vacuum cleaner here with the tube on it, and this crazy contraption here is actually what car detailers use for cleaning dashboards and vents and stuff like that. So I'm going to be able to jam that into the frame, but I'm also going to get compressed air in there to hopefully blow any stuff that's sort of jammed in there out, and that way I'll sort of blow and suck at the same time. That sounds really wrong, but and then clean it all out. Let's get into it, do some awesome boxer time lapsing, and hopefully by the end of the day I might have a rolling frame, and then I can start looking at mounting the fairings up, and also getting this tank, finally do one more pressure test on it, make sure it's not leaking, because I'm pretty comfortable now that I've chased all those welds properly. And then I'm going to take it over, we'll epoxy it and start sealing it up ready for paint. So priorities though, this goes first and then that goes afterwards. I've got most of these holes cleaned out and threads cleaned out, tape off, cleaned it off just with a wipe of brake cleaner just to get the residue of the tape off. Use like a flat file just to clean the edges of the powder coat, just to get those hard edges off. Or you can use a knife, doesn't matter, like a razor blade. But in stuff like this, in this hole here, which is a difficult one to do, to get in there, I've taped them pretty well, but there's still a little bit of crap in the ends. So here's my trick I'm going to try, and I've already started on this, so apologies if I'm jumping ahead of myself. I've got like an old bolt here. Yeah, I've cut a slot in the end of that with the angle grinder, and then what I'll do is I'll work out what my rotation is, which will be that way, and I've literally got an old piece of sandpaper there and just slot it in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get the scissors and cut a longer piece just to make a bigger diameter, and then I can pretty much trim it to whatever diameter I want by trimming the length of it. So I just got to make sure I go in the right way, and I guess it doesn't really matter because most drills go backwards anyway these days. But that's like my little sort of homemade flap disc arrangement thing. See if it works, might not, but worth a shot. There you go, pretty happy with that. It's all nice and clean there now. Winner, same with that one down there. Nice and clean, that's where the bolt goes through, so pretty happy. Cool. Okay, so it's all together, and when I say all together, it's assembled. The subframe's on tight, and that's all in. The Olin's shock is sitting in there. None of these bolts are done up tight. I've got Trav's new brake caliper bracket in there. A slight adjustment to be made on it, but in his defense, he didn't actually have the wheel or anything there, so he's got it so close, and we did say that we'd probably have to come back to it, so all in the effort of getting it perfect anyway. So, but it does fit really nicely, and it sits the caliper pretty much exactly where I wanted it. I could also be cheeky if I wanted to, and if I show you here, and put like a nutset in the frame or something like that up underneath here, like a M8 one, and then similar to the original bike, run like a bar with 2 heim joints on it. But I don't think it needs to, because that is proper 6061 billet. That's not going anywhere, that's super strong. Went to solid today, used Cam's bead blaster just to make these look all pretty and new again. As I'm not running a total loss system, I am still running the voltage regulator there. I've got this cheap knockoff one here, but I'm not going to use that, but that's pretty much how they sit, and I always forget to tape that off, so this time I did tape it off. Now it's all clean, so it's clean metal for that to sit onto, because you need to do that, and I have tested this one, so it is a good spare. There is actually a really good tutorial on YouTube that shows you how to do it, which is really nice. Got the triple clamp in. I did actually mount the Brembo master cylinder up under there not long ago with a little bracket that I had to bend up and make work, so that's just a case of getting the hose from there to there. This one does have a 90 on it, so I think I need a straight coming out of here. So I'm going to have to chase up the people that sell these master cylinders, see if we can change that. That's just sitting in there, not bolted up or anything like that properly, just a bolt through it, but yeah, pretty happy. So that's where we're at with that. Got the fairings over here and up on the shelf and stuff like that. And then, like as I mentioned earlier, the tank is pretty close, I think, pretty close or done, I'm hoping. So just want to do one more leak test on it, and hopefully it doesn't leak, and then I can actually start cleaning up this absolute shambles of a bench, because I have been quite busy and I'm actually quite ashamed of myself. This is not how my bench normally looks. Lots going on and not enough time to clean it up after myself. So anyhow, and yes, soon, very soon. Paint job looking good. Some sort of livery. I might even ask some people what they think about livery. I'll put the tail back on, take some photos of it. So, but I think this one is pretty good. It just needs the suspension sorted and maybe a carby rebuild, because it's been sitting around for a while. But both bikes are going to be sorted this year. That's the plan. So anyway, boom, see ya.